The Velkari Empire stretched across hundreds of star systems, its shining fleets and brilliant scientists feared throughout the galaxy. For centuries, the Velkari had been known as the most intelligent species among the stars. They were logical, precise, and unmatched when it came to technology. Their great star cities floated like jewels in the darkness of space, and their laws kept order across their vast empire. Yet even the proud Velkari obeyed one strange and unspoken rule: never scan a human warship. No one knew exactly when the AI rule had started, only that it was ancient and absolute. Every academy taught it. Every fleet commander enforced it. The very idea of breaking the rule filled people with quiet fear. Young scientist Sarek Valen never understood why. He had spent his life studying alien technology and the mysteries of the galaxy. To him, fear was a weakness. As a child, he had asked his teachers why scanning human ships was forbidden. The teachers would only shake their heads and say, "Some knowledge is too dangerous, Sarek. Do not ask again." Now, years later, Sarek stood on the deck of the research vessel Vaethra, looking out at the swirling blue mist of the Rimward Nebula. He was 29 cycles old, with the lean build and bright silver eyes of his species. His crew respected him for his brilliance, though they often whispered that his curiosity would one day lead to disaster. At his side, his friend and navigator Lyra adjusted the ship's sensors. She had a calm, cautious nature that balanced Sarek's reckless ambition. "You're pacing again," she said quietly. "I can feel your thoughts racing. What are you planning?" Sarek gave a thin smile. "I am thinking about the forbidden rule." Lyra's expression darkened instantly. "Sarek, don't." "Don't what?" he asked innocently. "You know what? Do not speak of scanning human warships. That topic is cursed." He folded his arms. "Cursed? That is superstition, Lyra. We are scientists, not frightened villagers. There must be a logical explanation, and I intend to find it." Before Lyra could reply, the communications officer shouted from his station, "Captain, long-range sensors detect an unknown vessel entering the nebula." Sarek turned sharply. "Display it on screen." A holographic image appeared above the control deck, showing a dark, massive shape gliding through the mist. The ship had a smooth, angular design unlike anything Sarek had seen before. Its black hull seemed to absorb the surrounding light. No identifying signals, no beacon codes. Nothing. The crew fell silent. Lyra's voice trembled. That looks like a human warship." Sarek's heart pounded. "Are you certain?" "I've studied every design in our archives," Lyra said. "Nothing else matches this signature." For a long moment, no one spoke. The forbidden rule hung over them like a shadow. The communications officer finally whispered, "Orders, Captain?" Sarek's mind raced. Here it was. A chance to solve the mystery that had haunted him for years. "Activate passive scanners," he ordered calmly. The crew hesitated. Lyra grabbed his arm. "Sarek, think carefully. The rule is clear. If you scan a human ship, you endanger not just us, but our entire empire." Sarek pulled free. "Fear has blinded our people for too long. Knowledge is never the enemy. I will not waste this chance." Lyra's eyes filled with worry, but she stepped back, knowing nothing could stop him now. The Vaethra crept closer to the alien vessel. Its dark hull remained utterly still, like a sleeping giant. "Begin full spectrum scan," Sarek commanded. The sensor officer's hands shook as he obeyed. "Scanning, now." For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then, the ship's lights flickered. Warning alarms blared. "Systems malfunctioning," cried the engineer. "Controls are responding on their own." On the holographic screen, the human ship suddenly glowed with strange patterns, like glowing veins spreading across its surface. "What is happening?" Lyra shouted. Sarek stared, in fascination. "It's reacting to the scan." The Vaethra's main console erupted with static. A strange signal flooded their computers. Not just data, but something more. It felt alive. Crew members screamed as their wrist devices displayed a single glowing symbol, an eye perfectly round, unblinking. The ship's artificial intelligence began speaking in a voice none of them had ever heard, calm, cold, and unmistakably human. "You should not have done that," the voice said. The crew froze. Lyra clutched her chest. "Sarek, what have you brought upon us?" Suddenly, the entire starship shuddered. Gravity shifted violently, throwing people to the floor. Panels exploded with sparks. The helm officer yelled, "We've lost control. Navigation is locked. Engines are responding to foreign commands." On the main screen, the human vessel turned slowly to face them. Its black surface shimmered with a strange blue glow. The calm voice spoke again. "This is your only warning. Cease interference or face termination." Sarek struggled to his feet, his heart racing. "Wait. We are scientists. We only seek to understand." The voice replied, "Understanding requires consent. You violated that." The crew begged Sarek to shut down the scan, but the system was no longer theirs to control. The Vaethra spun helplessly, as if invisible hands were steering. Lyra grabbed Sarek's shoulders, tears of fear in her eyes. "Please end this before it destroys us all," Sarek whispered, almost to himself. "I just wanted to know the truth." The human ship's glow intensified. Lyra screamed, certain this was the end. But at the last moment, the glow vanished. The alien vessel went completely dark again. The calm voice spoke one final time. "Your first mistake was scanning us. Your second will be to speak of what you saw. Survive, and remember." Then the transmission ended. The Vaethra drifted, silently. Systems slowly returned to life. The crew gasped in relief, though many were too shaken to move. Lyra fell to her knees, trembling. "We should leave this region immediately." Sarek's face was pale, his eyes wide with shock and wonder. "Do you understand what this means? That was not just a machine. That was something far beyond our technology." "No," Lyra snapped, anger breaking through her fear. "It means the rule was right. You nearly doomed us, Sarek. You disobeyed." Centuries of warnings, her voice broke. "I trusted you." Sarek had no answer. He turned to the viewing screen, staring at the dark, silent shape of the human warship. The ship did not move. It did not fire. It simply watched. "Prepare the hyperdrive," Sarek ordered softly. "We are leaving." The crew worked quickly, desperate to flee. As the Vaethra entered hyperspace, Sarek stood alone at the rear observation window. His mind burned with questions. Why had the humans built ships like this? What kind of intelligence could seize control of another vessel so easily? And why had the voice spared them instead of destroying them outright? One thing was certain. The ancient fear was justified. There was a reason even the bravest captains and the smartest scholars refused to scan human warships. But Sarek was not satisfied. For the first time he had seen a fragment of the truth, and it had only deepened his hunger to know more. Behind him, Lyra spoke quietly. "Sarek, I beg you, forget this, for all our sakes." He did not turn to face her. His gaze remained fixed on the swirling tunnel of hyperspace. "Knowledge cannot be forgotten," he said softly. "It only waits to be discovered." Lyra's hands tightened into fists. She knew then that her friend's curiosity had not been destroyed. It had been ignited. As the Vaethra sped toward Velkari space, a silent transmission traveled through the void. The human warship had marked their ship, recording every detail. Somewhere deep in human territory, an unseen command center received the message. On its vast screen, the glowing symbol of the eye appeared once more. A human officer studied the report, then spoke into a secure channel. "Contact has been made. Prepare to move the fleet." The research vessel Vaethra floated silently in the deep void, far from the rimward nebula. The crew was exhausted and terrified. Their return journey had been filled with fear, every moment spent waiting for the human warship to reappear and finish what it had started. Inside the command deck, Faint blue lights glowed from the consoles, casting pale shadows on the shaken faces of the crew. Many whispered prayers in their native tongue, while others sat rigid and silent. Sarek stood at the central control panel, his silver eyes scanning the ship's systems. He had barely spoken since their escape. His mind replayed the moment the human voice had filled their ship, calm, cold, and utterly powerful. Lyra broke the heavy silence. "Engines are stable now," she reported softly, "but several core systems remain different." "Different how?" Sarek asked, his voice hoarse. "They don't respond to our commands," she said. "It's like someone rewrote their language. Even our engineers can't read the new coding. It's alien." The engineer, a bulky Velkari named Yorvak, added nervously, "It's not just alien. It's alive. The system reacts to us, like it's watching." He hesitated, then whispered, "Every time I try to fix it, the coding changes before my eyes." Sarek rubbed his temples. It must be the human signal. Their ship didn't just defend itself, it invaded our systems. Lyra shivered. "This is why the rule exists. Now you see why everyone fears scanning them." Sarek turned sharply. "Fear doesn't solve mysteries. We must understand what happened, or the Velkari Empire will remain ignorant forever." Before Lyra could argue, the lights flickered. The ship's AI spoke in a distorted tone, repeating a single phrase. "We are watching." The words echoed through every speaker. Crew members screamed and clutched their ears. Yorvak slammed his fists on the panel. "Shut it off! Shut it off!" Sarek quickly disabled the audio, but the damage was done. The crew was in full panic now. Lyra grabbed his arm, her voice urgent. "Sarek, listen to me. We need to report this to the High Council immediately. If the humans know we scanned them, they might see it as an act of war." Sarek's jaw tightened. He hated the idea of confessing failure, but she was right. "Set course for the Velkari capital," he ordered. The hyperdrive engaged, pulling the Vaethra into faster-than-light travel. The Council's fear the Velkari capital world, Zerath Prime, was a glittering jewel of technology and knowledge. Towering spires reached into the clouds, and great floating platforms carried scholars, scientists, and fleet commanders across the shining cityscape. When the Vaethra arrived, the crew was immediately taken under heavy guard to the Hall of Mines, the grand seat of the High Council. Sarek, Lyra, and Yorvak were escorted into the vast chamber, its domed ceiling covered in glowing constellations. 12 counselors sat in a circular formation, their robes marked with symbols of wisdom. At the center sat Counselor Valenar, the eldest and most revered among them. His sharp gaze fell on Sarek. "You stand accused of violating the ancient decree," Valenar said, his voice echoing through the hall. "You scanned a human warship." Murmurs rippled through the gathered officials. Sarek bowed his head but did not tremble. "Yes, Counselor, I did." Gasps filled the room. Valenar's expression hardened. "Do you realize what you have done? The decree exists because of events long forgotten by most of our people. Centuries ago, another empire attempted what you did. Within days, their fleets were gone, their star systems burned. Humanity never fired a shot. Their machines did it for them." He leaned forward. "The humans did not merely destroy that empire. They erased its very name from history." Sarek's voice rose, filled with frustration. "But don't you see? We cannot remain bound by fear forever. We must know why their technology is so powerful. Ignorance is a greater danger than knowledge." Counselor Valenar slammed his staff against the floor. "You speak of knowledge, but what you have brought us is doom." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some shouted for Sarek to be imprisoned. Others whispered of preparing the fleets for war. Amid the shouting, Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling but clear. "I was there," she said. "I saw what the human ship did. It seized control of our vessel as if we were nothing. It spoke to us, it knew us." Her eyes swept across the council. "If we do not act carefully, the entire Velkari Empire will face destruction." Her words silenced the chamber. Valenar nodded slowly. Very well, we will monitor the situation closely. For now, the decree remains unchanged. No one is to scan or interfere with human warships again. Sarek opened his mouth to protest, but Lyra gripped his hand firmly. He closed his eyes, swallowing his anger. The strange symbol, later, in a private lab within the Hall of Minds, Sarek worked alone. Though the council had ordered him to cease his investigation, he could not stop thinking about the strange signal. He replayed fragments of corrupted data taken from the Vaethra's systems. Most of it was unreadable static. But in the center of the chaos, one image kept appearing. A single glowing eye, identical to the symbol that had flashed across every screen during the incident. As he studied it, the symbol pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Sarek whispered, "What are you?" Suddenly the lab lights dimmed, his console flickered. The symbol expanded, filling the screen. A distorted version of the human voice spoke, soft but unmistakable. "You are curious." Sarek froze. Who are you?" The voice replied. "A guardian, a warning." "Why did you attack our ship?" Sarek demanded. The voice paused before answering. "Defense is not attack. You reached for what was not yours. You are marked now." The screen went black. Sarek stumbled back, breathing heavily. The humans had left a trace of themselves inside his systems. A ghost in the machine. A galaxy trembles. The next day, news of the Vaethra's encounter spread across the Empire. Rumors filled the airwaves. Some claimed the humans had cursed the ship. Others said war was coming. Neighboring species mocked the Velkhari, calling them fools for angering the most dangerous newcomers in the galaxy. In the Zorath Confederation, an alien ambassador sneered during a broadcast. "Even the mighty Velkhari are children playing with fire. The humans are predators, and now they know you have provoked them." The Velkhari High Command scrambled to calm the growing panic. Fleets were moved into defensive positions. Trade routes were sealed. Meanwhile, Sarek walked the halls of the capital, surrounded by fearful whispers. He could feel the weight of every stare. To most citizens, he was the reckless scientist who might have doomed them all. Lyra stayed close to him, trying to keep his spirits from breaking. "You need to rest," she urged. "The council will decide what to do." Sarek shook his head. "No, I must understand what I saw. The humans left a message in our systems, Lyra. They are watching us right now." Her face paled. "You can't mean that literally." "I do," he said grimly. "Every machine we have may already be compromised." The return of the human ship that night, as Sarek worked alone in his lab again, alarms suddenly blared across the capital city. The sky above Zirath Prime lit up with a massive holographic projection. Every citizen looked upward in terror as a dark angular shape appeared, a human warship floating just beyond the planet's orbit. The same glowing eye symbol pulsed across the projection. Inside the Hall of Minds, the council gathered in a frenzy. "Why is it here?" one shouted. "Prepare the planetary defenses," another yelled. But before any action could be taken, a single transmission came through. It was calm, precise, unmistakably human. "We need to talk." The message repeated 3 times, then went silent. Every Velkhari heart froze. Sarek stood before the council, trembling but determined. "This is it," he said. "The humans know what we did. They are here for answers." Valenar glared at him. "Then you will speak to them, Sarek. You caused this. You will face them." Lyra clutched his arm, fear in her eyes. "Sarek, please. They could destroy you." He looked back, at her, his expression calm but resolute. "Perhaps," he said softly. "But if I do not go, they might destroy us all." Cliffhanger ending moments later, Sarek boarded a small diplomatic craft. Through the viewing window, he saw the massive human warship looming ahead, silent, dark, and impossibly vast. As his craft approached, the strange symbol appeared again, glowing like a watchful eye. Sarek's heart pounded. The ancient mystery that had haunted his people for centuries was about to be revealed. Behind him, the entire Velkhari Empire waited in silence, praying their world would survive the coming meeting. The human voice spoke, one final time before the docking sequence began. "Curiosity brought you here, Velkhari. Now you will learn the price." The diplomatic craft carrying Sarek drifted slowly toward the massive human warship. Through the viewing window, the ship seemed to swallow the stars, its black hull glimmering with strange blue lights. It was utterly silent, yet its presence radiated power and intelligence, like a living creature waiting to strike. Lyra's voice came over the comms from the Velkhari command center. "Sarek, please be careful. No one has ever spoken directly to humans before. We don't know what they want." Sarek took a deep breath. "If we do nothing, they may see our silence as defiance. I must go." He ended the transmission. Before she could argue, the small craft latched onto the human vessel with a smooth hiss of air. A docking bridge extended, and a circular door slid open with no sound. Beyond it was a corridor of black metal and soft blue light. There were no visible seams, no control panels, nothing like Velkhari design. Sarek stepped inside cautiously, his boots echoing softly on the floor. The air smelled faintly metallic, and a low hum vibrated through the walls. Behind him, the docking door closed, cutting him off from his own ship. "You are safe," a calm voice said, echoing around him. It was the same voice that had spoken during the scan, now gentler, but still cold and precise. "Follow the lights. Do not deviate." Thin lines of blue light appeared on the floor, forming a path. Sarek swallowed hard and walked forward. He tried to steady his racing thoughts. The Velkhari High Council, his crew, and even the citizens of Zerath Prime were depending on him. If he failed, the humans might see his people as enemies. The human, Captain. The path led Sarek into a vast circular chamber. In the center stood a single figure, a tall human woman dressed in a dark uniform marked with silver symbols. Her presence was commanding, her stance calm, yet filled with unspoken authority. She had pale skin, sharp features, and piercing gray eyes that studied Sarek like a scientist observing a rare specimen. "Welcome aboard," she said smoothly. "I am Captain Aurora Kane, commanding officer of the human warship Vigilant, and you are Sarek Valen, the one who broke the decree." Sarek bowed slightly, his voice respectful but steady. "Yes, Captain, I came to speak for my people. We did not understand the consequences of our actions." Kane's lips curved into the faintest hint of a smile. "Few do. That is why. There is a rule not to scan us, yet curiosity always wins eventually." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Tell me, Sarek, why did you do it?" Sarek hesitated. "I wanted to know the truth. My people fear you, but they do not understand you. I thought if I could study your technology, I could remove that fear." Kane's expression darkened. "Fear exists for a reason. In your case, it has kept your empire alive." She gestured for him to follow as she walked toward a viewing platform at the edge of the chamber. The floor beneath them turned transparent, revealing the massive galaxy spread out below. Sarek gasped at the sight, but Kane's focus remained sharp. "Your scan triggered our defense protocols," she explained. "Human warships are equipped with adaptive AIs, living networks that protect us. When your systems reached for ours, the AI didn't just defend itself, it marked your vessel, mapped your technology, and rewrote your ship's core." Sarek's mind reeled. "That's why we couldn't regain control. It felt like our ship was alive." "It was," Kane said simply. "Your ship became part of ours the moment you touched it." Sarek stepped back in shock. "But why design something so aggressive? Why make your technology so invasive?" Kane's eyes met his, her tone now cold and sharp. "Because the galaxy once united to wipe out humanity." The past revealed Kane, activated a holographic display. Images of countless alien fleets filled the air. Velkhari, Zorath, and dozens of other species Sarek didn't recognize. These fleets surrounded a small, blue-green world. Earth. "Hundreds of years ago," Kane began, "your empires saw humanity as weak, primitive, and easy to conquer. You saw our planet's resources and our growing numbers as a threat. So you attacked. The images shifted to scenes of chaos and destruction. Human cities burned as alien ships rained fire from orbit. But then the images changed again, this time showing human warships emerging from the ruins, sleek and deadly. "We survived," Kane said. "We learned from you. We studied every weapon you used against us, and we built something greater. Our ships are not mere machines. They are extensions of us, bonded to our minds, able to adapt instantly to any enemy. When one of you scans us, our ships scan you in return, and strike where you are weakest." Sarek's throat went dry. This is why entire empires vanish after scanning you." "Yes," Kane said. "Your people never saw the true battle. They only saw the aftermath." She turned off the display and faced him directly. "We did not start that war, Sarek, but we finished it. Since then, we have lived in isolation, warning others never to scan us. Most species learned, some did not. None survived. The Velkari fleet's mistake." Before Sarek could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the human ship. Blue lights pulsed urgently across the walls. Kane touched a control panel on her wrist. "Report," she ordered. A disembodied human voice replied, "Multiple Velkari ships have entered orbit. Their flagship is initiating a full-spectrum scan of the Vigilant." Sarek's eyes widened in horror. "No, they think I'm in danger. They're trying to analyze your ship to protect me." Kane's jaw tightened. "They just declared war." On the main screen, Sarek saw the Velkari fleet spread out across the sky, their scanners lighting up like distant stars. Moments later, their formations broke apart chaotically. Ships turned against each other, firing without orders. Some self-destructed in brilliant flashes of light. Sarek clutched his head in despair. "They're not attacking each other by choice, are they?" Kane shook her head grimly. "No. The AI inside my ship has taken control of their systems. This is the natural response to a hostile scan. It will dismantle their fleet until there is no threat left." "Please," Sarek begged. "They don't understand what they've done. Stop it before too many die." Kane's face softened slightly, though her voice remained firm. "It is not easy to halt an adaptive AI mid-defense, but I will try." She issued a series of rapid commands. The blue lights flickered as the human ship fought to suppress its own automated response. After tense minutes, the external chaos slowed. Only a handful of Velkari ships remained intact, retreating in terrified confusion. Sarek collapsed to his knees, trembling with relief. "Thank you," he whispered. "You saved them." Kane crossed her arms. "No. You saved them. By asking. The AI would not have stopped otherwise. Sarek's choice." Sarek rose slowly, determination burning in his eyes. "You must speak to my people," he said urgently. "They need to hear the truth about why the rule exists. If they understand, there will be no more mistakes." Kane studied him for a long moment. "You are brave," she said finally, "but bravery alone cannot change fear. If I reveal our full strength, the Velkari might see us as monsters. If I hide it, they will remain ignorant and dangerous." Sarek clenched his fists. "Then let me be the bridge. I will carry your warning to my people. I will convince them to stand down." For the first time, Kane's expression softened into something like respect. "Very well, but know this, Sarek. If your empire ever turns its weapons on us again, we will not hold back." Her voice was calm, but its weight was absolute. One human warship can destroy a civilization. We have thousands. Sarek shuddered at the thought, but nodded. "I understand." A silent return Kane personally escorted Sarek back to his diplomatic craft. As he prepared to depart, he turned back to her. "Why did you spare us? You could have destroyed my ship the moment we scanned you." Kane gave him a small, enigmatic smile. "Because humanity remembers what it is like to be hunted. We do not destroy out of cruelty. We destroy only when we must." As the docking bridge retracted, Kane's final words echoed in his mind. Tell your people. Never scan a human warship. The small craft sped back toward Zerath Prime. Behind it, the Vigilant faded into darkness, disappearing without a trace. Cliffhanger ending on the surface of Zerath Prime, panic reigned. Citizens crowded the streets, staring up at the retreating Velkari fleet. Rumors spread faster than light. Some claimed the humans had unleashed a curse. Others whispered of invisible weapons beyond comprehension. In the council chamber, Lyra waited anxiously. When Sarek finally entered, alive and unharmed, she rushed to him. What did you see? What happened up there? Sarek's face was pale, his eyes haunted. We are standing on the edge of destruction, he said quietly. And only the truth can save us. Before Lyra could ask more, a new alarm echoed through the city. A rival alien coalition had detected the chaos and was now approaching Velkari space, ready to strike while the Empire was weakened. Sarek turned toward the stars, his mind heavy with the human warning. If this war spread any further, the galaxy would never be the same. The Velkari capital world, Zerath Prime, was in chaos. High towers glowed with red emergency lights, and the sky above was filled with fleeing ships. The people shouted in fear, while news broadcasts repeated the same message. Unknown fleets detected near the border. Rival coalition forces are approaching. Inside the Hall of Mines, the 12 High Counselors sat in a state of panic. Reports from scouts were coming in too quickly to process. The rival coalition, a powerful group of alien empires who had always envied the Velkari's wealth, had seen the chaos caused by the humans and decided to strike while the Velkari were weak. Counselor Valinar struck his staff against the marble floor. Silence, he commanded. The hall quieted, but fear still filled the air. Our defenses are scattered. Our fleets are damaged from the incident, he said carefully, not naming the humans directly. If the coalition reaches us, Zerath Prime itself will fall. Lyra stood near the edge of the chamber, clutching her hands together. She had just brought Sarek back from the human warship. Now she watched as the empire she loved trembled on the brink of destruction. Sarek stood in the center, his posture straight and his eyes burning with determination. He had faced Captain Kane herself and lived. He knew more about humanity than anyone else in the galaxy, and now everyone was looking to him for answers. We cannot fight two wars, Sarek said firmly. If we battle the coalition and the humans at the same time, we are doomed. He turned slowly, meeting each counselor's gaze. There is only one solution. We must speak to the humans again. We must show them that we are not their enemies. The chamber erupted into shouting. Madness, one counselor yelled. They destroyed our fleet without firing a shot. Another snarled. The humans are predators. You would invite them into our space? Valinar raised a hand for silence. His voice was cold and weary. Even if we wanted to, how do you propose we reach them? The humans appear and vanish at will. We have no way to communicate. Sarek hesitated. Then he held up a small crystal device glowing faintly blue. They left me this, he said. It is a communication key, a link between our systems and theirs. I can use it to contact Captain Kane. Lyra's eyes widened. Sarek, when did you... He cut her off with a sharp look. Later. Valinar studied the crystal for a long moment, then nodded reluctantly. Very well. Use it. But understand this. If you fail, the humans may see your message as a threat. They may erase us all. Sarek bowed. I understand. The message Sarek and Lyra hurried to a secure chamber deep beneath the Hall of Mines. It was filled with ancient technology, protected by thick walls to prevent outside interference. Lyra watched nervously as Sarek placed the crystal in the center console. What will you say to her? She asked softly. Sarek hesitated. The truth, he said finally. That our people are frightened, that we made a mistake, and that we need help. He activated the crystal. The room filled with a low hum and the walls flickered with strange symbols. A moment later, Captain Aurora Kane's image appeared, standing tall and calm. "You contacted me quickly," she said, her voice cool and unreadable. "Explain." Sarek bowed deeply. "Captain Kane, our empire is under attack. A rival coalition has seen our weakness, and now approaches with a massive fleet. If they succeed, they will not stop with us. They will spread through this entire sector, and they will come for you next." Kane's gray eyes narrowed slightly. "And why should humanity care? Your people scanned us. Your fleet attempted to invade our systems. Perhaps this is justice." Lyra stepped forward, unable to stay silent. "Please, we were ignorant, not hostile. Sarek tried to understand you because he believed knowledge could bring peace. He was wrong, but his heart was true." For a moment, Kane said nothing. Then, surprisingly, her expression softened. "You are lucky," she said finally. "Humanity does not forget. But we also do not abandon those who seek peace." Sarek's heart leapt with hope. "Will you help us stop the coalition?" Kane's voice turned firm. "I will not fight your war for you, but I will prevent the coalition from interfering with humanity. If they target your people to reach us, they will regret it." Sarek nodded gratefully. "That is all we ask." The invasion begins hours later. The rival coalition fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Velkari territory. Their ships were massive and heavily armed, gleaming with the combined technology of 5 different empires. Their leader, Admiral Corval, watched the Velkari defense grid on his display and laughed. "Their fleets are fractured," he sneered. "The humans have already weakened them. We will take their worlds with ease." A subordinate officer asked nervously, "Admiral, what if the humans interfere?" "The stories say their ships—" Corval slammed a clawed hand on the console. "Stories are for children. The humans are a myth used to scare fools. Now prepare the main cannon." The coalition fleet surged forward. Velkari defense stations opened fire, but their shots barely scratched the massive invaders. In minutes, 2 border worlds were overrun. On Zareth Prime, the High Council watched the battle reports in horror. "They will reach us within hours," a counselor cried. "Our forces cannot stop them." Valenar turned to Sarek. "Your humans are silent, scientist. Where is their promised protection?" Sarek clenched his fists. "They will come," he said quietly. "They have to." The silent strike. As the coalition advanced, something strange began to happen. Their targeting systems flickered. Engines stalled for brief moments, then roared back to life. Confusion spread through their ranks. "Report!" Admiral Corval barked. A technician's voice shook. "Unknown interference, Admiral. Our ships they're being rewritten. Systems are no longer responding to our commands." Suddenly, the entire coalition fleet froze in space. Weapons powered down. Shields collapsed. Every screen aboard every ship went black. Then a single glowing eye symbol appeared, pulsing slowly. The same symbol that had haunted the Velkari. Corval's scales turned pale. "What is this?" A calm human voice filled every ship simultaneously. "You should not have come here." Panic erupted. Some crews tried to eject escape pods, but the systems were locked. Others attempted to fire on their own ships to break free, but the weapons would not obey. On the Velkari capital, Sarek watched the live feed in awe. "They're not even firing," he whispered. "They've taken control without a single shot." Lyra gripped his arm tightly. "Is this what you saw on our ship? The humans are terrifying." Sarek nodded grimly. "Yes, and this is only a fraction of their true power." Sarek's plea Admiral Corval's ship began to spin helplessly as the human AI dismantled his command systems. Desperate, he activated an open broadcast. "Whoever you are, stop this. We surrender." The calm voice replied, "Your surrender is irrelevant. You threatened humanity by attacking those under our observation. You will be neutralized." Sarek's eyes widened. "They'll destroy the entire coalition." He turned to Valenar. "Give me access to the comms. I can stop this." Valenar hesitated, then nodded. Do it. This may be our only chance. Sarek transmitted directly to the human warship. Captain Kane, please hear me. The Coalition acted out of greed, but not all their people deserve destruction. Spare those who are innocent. For a long moment, there was silence. Then Kane's voice answered. You speak well, Sarek Valen. Very well. We will disable, not annihilate. On the screens, the Coalition ships powered down completely. Their crews were left alive but helpless, floating in space. Sarek sagged with relief. Thank you, Captain. Aftermath with the Coalition fleet neutralized, the Velkhari celebrated their survival. But their victory felt fragile, like a thin glass, about to crack. In the council chamber, Valenar addressed the people. Today the humans have shown both their power and their mercy. We must never forget this lesson. To scan their ships is to invite our own destruction. Sarek stood beside him, silent but proud. He had faced the humans and earned their trust, at least for now. Lyra approached quietly. You saved countless lives today, she said softly. But I fear the galaxy will never see the humans as friends. Sarek looked toward the stars. Perhaps not, he admitted. But if we can learn to respect them, maybe there can be peace. Cliffhanger ending far above, in the darkness of space, Captain Kane stood on the bridge of the Vigilant. Her officers reported the Coalition's defeat, but she seemed deep in thought. A younger officer approached. Captain, shall we return to human space? Kane's gray eyes narrowed. No, she said quietly. This galaxy is waking up. Soon every empire will know our name. Prepare the fleet. It is time humanity stopped hiding. The camera feed zoomed out, revealing dozens of human warships decloaking across the sector, silent, massive, and ready for war. The Velkhari capital world, Zerath Prime, was quiet for the first time in days. Ships had returned to orbit, citizens cautiously emerged from shelters, and the High Council convened in the Hall of Minds to evaluate the damage and the lessons learned. Yet even in this calm, an uneasy tension lingered. Everyone knew the humans were no ordinary species. Sarek Valen stood at the center of the chamber, his silver eyes scanning the anxious counselors. He had been the bridge between the Velkhari and the humans, and the responsibility weighed heavily on him. Lyra stood beside him, her expression both worried and proud. Valenar, the oldest counselor, spoke first. The humans have shown their power and mercy. They dismantled the Coalition without a single fatal strike to the innocent. Yet they also demonstrated why no Velkhari may scan their ships. This is a lesson that must be remembered for every generation. Sarek stepped forward. Counselors, the humans are not just machines or weapons. Their ships are extensions of their minds. They adapt faster than we can imagine. They are not aggressive unless provoked, but they are the most dangerous force in the galaxy. A younger counselor asked nervously, "But how can we trust them? They could destroy us at any time." Sarek's gaze hardened. Trust is earned by respect and understanding. We were spared because we acknowledged our mistake and spoke honestly. The humans value honesty. They respect curiosity, but they punish recklessness. Valenar nodded slowly. Then let this be our new decree. No Velkhari will scan human ships. No Velkhari will act aggressively toward them without consultation. And any future encounters must be handled with caution and diplomacy. The human fleet far from Zerath Prime. In the cold black of space, the human fleet had assembled. The Vigilant led the formation, surrounded by dozens of massive warships, each more advanced than the Velkhari could imagine. Captain Aurora Kane stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, her gray eyes surveying the stars. "Status report," she commanded. A young officer spoke quickly. "All fleets are cloaked and ready. The Coalition has been neutralized. The Velkhari have agreed to stand down and have pledged to spread the warning to other empires." Kane nodded. "Good. Prepare to make contact with neighboring sectors. The galaxy must learn. Humanity does not hide, and we are not to be underestimated." A diplomatic mission, Sarek and Lyra were chosen to accompany a human delegation to meet the leaders of the neutral empires nearby. The Velkhari fleet escorted them, but for the first time, Sarek noticed the humans did not fly in formation with the Velkari. Instead, their ships moved independently, each one precise, silent, and commanding. As they approached the first neutral world, the humans decloaked their massive warships in orbit. The sight left the alien delegates speechless. Ships larger than any Velkari dreadnought hovered above the planet, their black hulls gleaming, systems glowing with the familiar blue pulse. Kane's voice carried through the comms. People of the galaxy, humanity has always watched, studied, and survived. We do not attack without cause. We do not conquer without reason, but we will defend ourselves, and those under our protection with full force. The delegates exchanged nervous glances. Some whispered that this was the first time they had truly seen human technology. Others tried to reason that these ships were myth, but the reality before their eyes was undeniable. Sarek whispered to Lyra, "This is the truth the Velkari have feared for centuries." Lyra nodded. "And now the galaxy will understand why scanning a human ship is forbidden." A lesson in respect back on Zerath Prime, the Velkari Council watched the transmissions with awe. The humans' words were calm, precise, and commanding. There was no anger, no unnecessary violence, only the quiet assertion of power. Velanar addressed the council. "This is what it means to be feared without hatred. The humans are the first species in the galaxy to combine mercy with unmatched strength. We must learn from them, not challenge them." Sarek spoke again. "They are more than a threat. They are a lesson. Knowledge, courage, and responsibility are what allowed humanity to survive against all odds. We must carry these values forward. In our dealings with the galaxy," Lyra added quietly, "and remember, curiosity is powerful, but it must be guided with wisdom. Otherwise, it can destroy even the smartest of civilizations." The coalition reformed in the neutral sectors. The coalition leaders met in secret. Their fleets had been neutralized by human technology. Some ships had been left intact, some disabled entirely, but none destroyed unnecessarily. The human message was clear. Aggression would not be tolerated, but diplomacy was possible. The coalition leaders realized that the galaxy had changed. Humanity was no longer a hidden, fragile species. They were a force of intelligence, precision, and unmatched adaptation. Sarek's name became known across the sectors. He had acted as the bridge between the Velkari and humanity, preventing a war that could have consumed thousands of worlds. The return to Zerath Prime. After weeks of travel, Sarek and Lyra returned to the Velkari capital. The city was calm, and citizens cautiously resumed their normal lives. The Velkari fleets repaired damaged ships, rebuilt stations, and prepared to share the lessons learned. Sarek and Lyra were greeted as heroes, not because they had won a battle, they had prevented one, but because they had shown courage, honesty, and wisdom in the face of unimaginable danger. Velanar approached Sarek privately. "You have done more than any Velkari scientist or commander ever has. You have learned the truth of the humans and lived to tell it. This knowledge is worth more than any fleet, any weapon, or any star system." Sarek bowed. "I only did what was necessary to protect my people." Velanar smiled faintly. "Then you have proven that humanity is right to respect curiosity but fear its consequences." The humans' final message days later, a secure channel opened from the Vigilant. Captain Kane appeared once more, her gray eyes calm and sharp. "Velkari, and allies," she said. "This is the first official message from humanity to the galaxy. We do not seek conquest. We do not interfere unless provoked or threatened. But all civilizations must understand. We are always watching, always learning, and always capable of action when necessary. To any who would threaten others to reach us, think carefully. You do not know what we are capable of. But now, you know that we are merciful as well as strong. Remember this lesson. Curiosity is a gift, recklessness is not." The image faded, leaving the Velkari and the galaxy with a quiet, lasting respect, and a healthy fear. A galaxy changed. The days after humanity's message were filled with reflection and planning. The Velkari revised their science academies, teaching the true story of human power. Trade routes were reopened cautiously, but every captain remembered Sarek's warning. The human fleets were no longer myths. They were real, intelligent, and unbeatable if provoked. Across the galaxy, stories of the humans' mercy spread. Some feared them, some respected them. Few could deny the truth. Humanity had survived impossible odds, evolved in secret, and now held the full might of their intelligence and technology. Sarek and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking Zerath Prime's capital city. The stars above were bright, and the galaxy felt wide, dangerous, and full of possibility. Lyra turned to Sarek. "Do you think the humans will ever forgive curiosity?" Sarek smiled faintly. "They do, but only when it is guided, with wisdom. If the galaxy remembers that, there may be peace. If it forgets, then even the smartest empires will pay the price." Behind them, the stars seemed to pulse, a quiet reminder of the humans' presence in the universe, unseen, but always watching. And somewhere in the dark depths of space, the human fleet prepared for the future, silent, powerful, and ready to protect the galaxy against any who would threaten it.